Hello everyone, I'm Stephen Harris, and as you can see right here, I'm not in West Virginia anymore. If you look out there, you'll see my Bluey figurines looking at a view of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Now the reason we came here is because one, my family wanted to go to a Guns N' Roses concert, and two, my family and I are going to a Buffalo Bills game tomorrow at this stadium which I cannot pronounce right, so yeah. I decided not to go to the Guns N' Roses concert because it's way too freaking loud for my ears, but instead, I decided to film my Q&A video at the hotel room. Now, depending on how well this video does, I may do more like this. Now with that out of the way, let's move on to our first question, which will be from Miss Mercer, who was an assistant math teacher at high school. And she asks, what is your favorite homemade food? Pancakes? Who makes it? Usually it depends on who's awake. If I'm awake, then I make the pancakes. If my mom's awake and I'm not, then she usually makes the pancakes. And when I'm at my grandmother's house, it's a collaborative effort between me and my grandmother. As for what makes it my favorite though, that's going to be a little tricky, but I think the best way I can summarize it is that they're so simple, yet they're so wholesome at the same time. Now let's move on to our second question, which will come from Miss Moreland, who was actually a math teacher during my junior and senior high school years. And she asks, do you think that videos posted online is the future of entertainment? If so, how do you think it will change how studios promote movies and shows? Well, Miss Moreland, I can answer that with two different responses, or two factors as to how you make the videos. One, you gotta make sure the videos are well made and come from a reliable source. You don't want any videos from Rational Ryan where his videos are so god-awful and so cringeworthy that they make Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3 better in comparison. And by the way, that is actually the worst movie I've ever seen. I'll link a review in the description. And number two, you gotta make sure it's on a good video platform. Not every video makes it onto YouTube just like that, I'm just saying. Now, let's move on to the third question, which will be from Miss Queen, who was an assistant principal at high school and probably my best friend ever. Now she asks, what are your plans for this summer, or what were my plans for this summer, because at the time of recording this, it'll be 3 days until I go to college. I'm not really sure what my plans for summer were. Anyways, what is one thing you are excited about college in the fall? I think it'll have to be that outdoor field at WVUP, which during lunch you can walk around and do other things until class begins again. And then finally, what is something valuable you learned in high school for your future? Good behavior matters. Now, I was actually not a perfect kid at high school, and I will admit that some of my behavior was a little, wobbly, so to speak. But thanks to Miss Queen and a few other people at my high school, I learned that good behavior always gets you to certain great places that for the future, if you mess up, then it's over for your career. Now the final question will come from Miss Kyle, who was actually a correspondence officer at high school. And she asks, what is your favorite animal, the bald eagle? 2, what is something you look forward to in life? Probably going to work for the Jim Henson Company once I get my puppetry degree. And then 3, what is your favorite memory at South? It would probably be Miss Queen in general because she is my best friend ever. Now these next questions actually come from a Q&A video I did in which it wasn't necessarily a Q&A video per se, but more a video asking people to ask several questions for a Q&A video. And the first two will come from my mom, and she asks, who is your favorite voice actor, Mel Blanc, and who is your favorite Muppet? Would Big Bird count because Sesame Street does still have the rights to use the Muppet terminology to describe their puppet characters? If not, I would have to say Kermit the Frog. And speaking of Muppets, this next question comes from Allie Johnson, and she asks, what is your favorite puppet show? That would have to be Sesame Street, because Sesame Street is like that one special show that it is very wholesome, it is very entertaining for the little kids, and yet when it's time to tackle serious subject matters, they don't hesitate to tackle serious subject matters. This is the preschool show that introduced many generations to serious social issues such as racism, sexism, and even some things that would be considered normally taboo but they need to be talked about, such as human birth and even death. So yeah, that's pretty much the reason I love Sesame Street, other than its very entertaining cast of characters, and overall, it's just such a wholesome show, but when it's time to get serious, it gets serious. And the next question will come from Kaylin, or as she replaced the A with a 4, and she asks me, favorite color? Purple. I don't know why, it's just, purple is just a very, very pretty color to look at. You put it on flowers, you even put it on pancakes, and you're pretty much guaranteed to have a pretty sight right there. And the last question will be coming from Monica Watson, and she asks me, if you could be in any movie, what would it be? I'm not gonna lie, I don't know if I would really fit in any movie per se. The closest thing I could actually come up with an answer for would probably have to be The Adventures of Milo and Oz, which, along with The Unholy Three from 1930, is actually my favorite movie of all time. Now, the reason why I say The Adventures of Milo and Oz is because, well, you don't really see any human characters in that movie. Now, I know that's not the whole point of the movie, but I think that adding some human characters in there would have added a more human element to the movie, and some of the animals would have not just lived at the farm by themselves, because where the actual heck is the farmer? I'm just saying. But that will be it for my Q&A video for right now. If you have any more questions, feel free to ask them in the comments below, and I may do a sequel. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.